Finn, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
Great. We've been sitting in here talking to Brian. He's actually, you went to school here for a year, correct?
Yeah, I went to, graduated my senior year here.
Very, very cool. So, Brian, tell us a little bit about your background and why you are back in Carbon County.
So, I obviously went here my senior year and love this area and love Carbon. I love Emory. Did a documentary about the Santa Fe Swell for the National Geographic a while ago and just fell in love with that place. And started doing movies. Got into films. So, primarily stunts. I was Tom Cruise's stunt double for War of the Worlds and Face Off. Did a lot of movies actually. Go to imdb.com and do my name. You can see a pretty good credit list.
Did I see on there that you had with Skinwalker Ranch? You did something with that?
I did.
And that's over in Vernal or Roosevelt?
Roosevelt. We actually shot that in parts of Idaho.
Oh,
And we shot that in Payson. There's a whole crazy opening scene of a video that was based on a true story or a true legend, I guess, as well. But yeah, we kind of shot that all over the place.
Very cool.
My Blazer, I think I had it in high school. I'm trying to think. It's a '72 Blazer. It's in the movie and gets crushed by a kind of a giant VFX wolf. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. So you're doing a movie here.
Yes.
I mean, you've shot other places, but you're doing some scenes here, correct?
We are. Yeah, we are. It's a super cool project. It's called Resilience in the Last Spike, and it's takes place kind of all over Utah, even though it's supposed to be the Santa Fe Swell specifically, and a little bit of a movie embellishment or what you want to call just to extend the area a little bit. But it's about a little girl and her family that are out side-by-siding, and she gets in an accident, and the family disappears and is trapped, and she's got to go for help, and she's about 50 miles from nowhere, and she basically has to go through the desert and high desert and different parts, and during that she comes upon old shack that's out in the middle of nowhere, and it turns out to be these guys are thieves and got a bunch of stuff.
Oh my.
So yeah, a little bit of kidnapping, and it's actually these is going to sound the weirdest thing in the world, but if you took Dennis the Menace and Oh Brother Where Art Thou and combined them into a movie, that's what this is, because the guys, the characters in it are so unique and kind of just interesting, and then the little girl is a little Indiana Jones. She's just a superhero.
And this is played by your daughter.
It is.
This sassy little 6-year-old he's telling us about.
Exactly. And that's she's this isn't me giving her a job. I'm lucky to work with her.
Right. That's what you said.
Yeah, I did a movie called I think I was a producer on Underdog Kids, and my little girl was in it, and she had a scene with Beau Bridges. And he kind of decided to ad-lib and go on his own with his lines. And she's 6 years old, and she looks him in the eyes and says, "If you're going to change your lines, you really got to let me know, because I think my character would react differently." And so that was
professional.
Exactly. Had a little prima donna in her, which is perfect for acting. And
yes.
I try to keep her head straight. I don't let her have an agent yet or anything. And only let her do jobs. Only let her do jobs that I'm part of.
That's good. That's good. So you want the public's help, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So specifically, some of the scenes out here are going to take place in the 1860s, and we need an old wagon and maybe a horse or a team, but probably smaller and just a little team of horses. They have them in Salt Lake, but it's a big deal to get them to come down here and working on that. But the biggest reason is let's promote people from Carbon, promote people from Emory. And I love to hire local, and then that gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like even when I go out of town, out of state, I try to hire people from Utah.
That's
I
cool.
just love this state, and I moved back here to raise my kids, basically. So anyway, so a mule or a horse with an old wagon that fits that time period. A couple of maybe if there was a Wrangler that had a really mellow horse. We have an actor named Adam Johnson. He does a lot of church movies out here.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be on a horse, and he's about a 5 on horse riding. So I need a nice, good, mellow horse that he could do a little bit of riding on with a Wrangler. And then there's actually a couple of little parts that might be good for a couple little lines for us, convenience store clerk, a couple of guys that are helping dig out the parents, that kind of stuff. So one of the tough things, we have this amazing wolf called Apollo that's done like 6 or 7 films, because one of the nights she comes across pack of wolves, and they're chasing her. So we have a great lead wolf, but no minor wolves, and I'm almost to the point where I'm, my line was no face biters. That's kind of where the rule is. But right now it's what if anyone has a wolf that can come like through camera and just a background, or a wolf dog, I guess it is. So
I have a boxer.
You know what? I think with
and a lab.
Green screen and VFX, we might be able to fix
Right?
the boxer up. We'll get him. It's pretty movie magic.
That is so awesome. So how can people get a hold of you if they're interested in this? Or I guess what are the qualifications you want for the smaller parts? Like men, women, kids.
So the little parts are there's a guy named Earl, and he's kind of a country guy. He runs a ditch witch, if you know what those are. It's a little digger, basically. And the sheriff's going to be played by Don Shanks, which is the guy that played Michael Myers from Halloween. He played, back in the day, this is going to show my age, but Grizzly Adams, he played Nakoma, which is the coolest dude ever. So, yeah, he was the Indian sidekick for Grizzly Adams. He's going to be our sheriff. And he calls upon Earl and his sister to come help dig these the family out. So they have about 3 or 4 lines, or even we can just kind of adjust. I'm really good at working with new people, and that would be cool to throw to a local person.
Yeah.
And then let's see, maybe a convenience store clerk. I don't know if there's still a Circle K in Castledale or not, but there's
like a Hearts.
A Hearts.
There's a Hearts on Maverick.
Oh, okay.
There's quite a few actually in Castledale.
Yeah.
The story's written. Obviously, you can change it to whatever. But the little girl, as she gets away out of the swell, that's where's the first thing she comes upon, and she sees our sheriff eating a Slim Jim at the Circle K. So, and there's a clerk there. So those are little roles that'd be great to just have a local person instead of bringing somebody in and give somebody some experience. And then any Asian, we need 3 or 4, and these are just background Asian descent. And honestly, with a hat and some wardrobe, if you're just kind of small and dark skin, it can probably work. I hope that makes sense. But we can even dirty up. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff you deal with film. Absolutely.
That is so cool. Well, we're so excited to have you back in Carbon County. I think this project sounds so great. And you know Tony.
Yeah, I do.
I was like, do you know my mom? He's like, who's your mom? And I told him, and he's like, oh my gosh, I know her. I love her.
She's so fun.
Small world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Small
absolutely.
world. So how does someone get a hold of you if they've got the mule,
Okay, so the easiest way, I'm tempted to just give out my personal number. I don't know.
They can call me, and I can call you.
Okay, and then aoemedia.tv. You'll see, you can leave a message there. Actually, if you search, you can probably find all my information and deal with that and get that out there. aoemedia.tv, and then YouTube, if you just search Brian Fan, you can leave a message there. But aoemedia.tv is probably the best way.
Okay, and if you did not get that information, just call me. 637-1080 is the number. Brian, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Say hi, Taylor. We're live.
Hey. I'm glad I did my hair 5 minutes ago.
Thank you so much for tuning in.